digestion in the coronary and small intestines. Who can remind us the enzymes that are found in the small intestines? The enzymes and what they do in the small intestines.
Pepsinogen.
Someone is saying which one?
Pepsinogen or pepsin.
Pepsin in the small intestines. Pepsinogen is found in the. Which one?
Trypsin.
Trypsin, yes. Trypsin, what does it do? Trypsin, what does it do?
Acts on proteins.
Acts on proteins and changes them to
Peptides.
small intestines. Remember small intestines.
Is peptides one of them?
Amino acid.
Trypsin, yes, into amino acids. That's one. Another enzyme.
Pancreatic amylase.
There is sorry. Pancreatic amylase. That is in the duodenum from the pancreas. Duodenum from the pancreas.
Maltose.
Maltose, yes. What does it do?
It acts on glucose.
Please don't, please. You told me not to talk about that thing about that.
No, that's not necessary. I'll be sure to stand with you.
Please don't talk about this yet. About sandals.
Why are you talking to yourself? Are you get bored?
Sucrose.
Maltose, what does it do?
It acts upon glucose.
Glucose, maltose. First of all, the enzyme. The enzyme is it?
Maltose.
Maltase.
So Mr. Bagambisa, if it's okay with you, kindly rotate the screen so that
I'm actually document. Okay, maltase works on maltose and changing it to glucose. Another one.
Sucrose.
Sucrase, yes.
Working on sucrose.
Working on sucrose.
Glucose and fructose.
Glucose and
Fructose.
fructose. Another enzyme.
Lipase.
Lactase.
Lipase.
Is it lipase or lipase?
Lipase.
Lipase.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
How are you, Mr. Chebeti?
I'm okay. How are you?
I am not seeing my document,
I'm seeing only 187 people. What's the problem?
The others are not coming.
Network.
We are waiting for them.
Network is the problem. Yes.
Mr. Chebeti, can you share for me the notes because I'm not seeing my document?
Okay, let me first search for them. Let me get them.
Okay. So, guys, you had talked about so far 3 enzymes. You have talked about maltase. You have talked about lipase. You have also talked about
Mr. Chibet.
Uh,
Mr. Chibet. Milton.
I don't know where Milton is.
Yes.
Could you be kind enough and post it on the WhatsApp group so that we can also access it?
Let
In
me
case,
pick, but we had
in
them on. Are you using your laptop?
I'm using my phone.
Okay, it's fine. Let me look.
Okay.
But it was shared long time ago in the group. You can maybe check in the documents.
Documents. Okay. So, Mr. Arthur, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, I have not got my document. The girls, we are left with one enzyme in the small intestine, in the ilium. There is one enzyme we have not talked about. You have talked about sucrase, you have talked about maltase, you have talked about lipase. One other enzyme.
Peptidase.
Peptidase.
Okay. There are also peptidases, okay? Peptidase. Peptidase, what does it do?
It digests amino acids.
Peptides.
Sorry? They catalyze, okay? They catalyze the digestion of the peptides to what?
Amino acids.
Amino acids. Okay, there is another one enzyme. There is another enzyme.
Lactase.
Lactase. Yes, lactase. What does it do?
It catalyzes lactose into glucose and galactose.
Into glucose and galactose. Yes, that's very correct. So from there, now food moves to the colony. And we said in the colony there is no digestion taking place. Some water may be absorbed, so that now the indigestible materials, they come out as feces. Meanwhile, when food has been digested in the small intestines, it is absorbed into the body. What is about absorption? Absorption, someone would tell us about what absorption is about? Is there anyone wants to tell us about, Rugorobi, wants to tell us about what absorption is?
No, teacher, I had a question.
You had a question? Okay, you can ask.
Yes, I was asking that the juices are not enzymes, like the intestinal
The juices are not enzymes. Yes, the juices are not enzymes. Those are fluids where you find the enzymes. Those are secretions.
Okay.
So now the question is, what do we mean by absorption?
Teacher, first, maybe let me also supplement on. Just like we have saliva. Saliva is also one of the juices that body secretes. And saliva is also containing an enzyme called salivary amylase. So they should take note that these juices, they contain many components, and among those components are the enzymes.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes.
Then also there is someone who sent a message in inbox. I think it was Jacinta. Jacinta is complaining that we didn't answer her question last time. Maybe she can ask before you proceed to absorption. Jacinta, okay. What was the question? Remind us.
Was How does the body overcome lipid digestion in the alimentary canal?
Sorry, repeat again.
Alimentary canal.
How does the body overcome lipid digestion in the alimentary canal?
What do you mean by overcoming it? What do you mean by overcoming it? What exactly? Because we said food is broken down, food is digested. We say, for example, starch is broken down to maltose. As you go down, maltose is broken down to form glucose. So for lipids, what exactly are you meaning by overcoming?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
Where did it go?
I had some questions that I was doing and it was one of them. So I was also asking.
Overcoming.
Maybe Jacinta, do you know how fats are digested in the duodenum? Jacinta, do you know how fats are digested in the duodenum? Jacinta is now okay. Now, maybe what we should know about fat digestion is that they are digested in the duodenum. And what digests them? First of all, there is bile. Bile first breaks down those fats into tiny droplets. Then after breaking them into tiny droplets through emulsification, then you be my guy. Then pancreatic lipase comes in and catalyzes the breakdown of those lipids to fatty acids and glycerol. That is what happens to the lipids.
I hope she has got it. That's what maybe she was meaning by overcoming it. The enzyme that digests the lipids are found in one in the duodenum and the other one in the ilium, the second part of the small.
Teacher, can I ask a question? Can I answer that? Oh my God.
Asa, do you think you can share for us as the debate is also checking?
You had asked earlier what absorption was.
Yes, yes.
So absorption means the absorbing or assimilating substances in a cell or across tissues and organs.
You have tried, but you have described the assimilation. Absorption is the movement of digested food nutrients from the alimentary canal.
First, you can unmute yourself. I was muting all of them because they are trying to misbehave. First, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Assimilation, young girl, Arthur, do you think you can screen for us? Because it looks like Chepeti is also trying to look for it.
Unfortunately, I'm not using my computer. I'm using a phone.
Okay. I'm also using.
But nevertheless,
you can't get it from a phone because I'm also using a phone. I thought I would.
I can, but I had just cleared all the documents off my phone.
Okay. I moved it into the downloads, but I don't see it.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I think the next topic was absorption, which we are discussing. So to guide the discussion, maybe the objectives is to describe to define what's absorption. Where does absorption of food take place? Now that
and the adaptation
alimentary canal. So
and the adaptation is hopefully you'll be able to get it.
Yes, I'm trying to share from my phone. I found a document.
Okay, let me continue discussing it. One girl has defined absorption, but he brought in assimilation. Now, absorption is the diffusion, that movement of digested food nutrients from the small intestines in the ilium into the bloodstream is what is referred to as absorption. The food nutrients are the end products you have talked about. You have talked about the end products of proteins, which are amino acids, end products of digestion of carbohydrates, which is glucose, end products of digestion of lipids, which are fatty acids and glycerol. Then the other nutrients which are not digested, other food nutrients, like vitamins, like nutrients, like all those, they form the end products of digestion. Are you hearing me?
Teacher Faisal,
There is an echo.
there is an echo in the background.
I see my
Teacher
screen.
Are you hearing me now?
Mr. Bima.
Yes, we hear you, but I'm not seeing your screen, Milton.
My screen is not there.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay. What about Arthur?
After I said they had cleared his from the.
No, I'm saying
they also cleared mine from my phone, so I cannot now.
I'm trying to share the screen.
Okay.
Have you posted it in the WhatsApp group?
I have downloaded one.
Okay.
Yes, I have it.
Do you have it in? Have you reposted it in the WhatsApp group?
Okay, let me do that quickly.
So that in case yours is off, then you can also come in. Arthur, we can see you here.
Okay, so girls, as they are trying to share the notes, the movement of end products of digestion from the small intestines into the bloodstream is what is referred to as the absorption. This absorption.
Teacher Faisal.
Yes,
there
please.
are 3 hands.
There are 3 hands.
Maybe.
Okay. Please, can you unmute yourself and ask? Okay, thank you very much, Arthur. I think we can get the definition of absorption. Thank you. This is the process by which the soluble products of digestion diffuse through the cell linings of the villi into the bloodstream. Diffusion is just the movement of molecules from a region where there are many to a region where they are few. For example, now there is a lot of end products of digestion in the alimentary canal, specifically in the ilium. So food now moves from the ilium into the capillaries, the bloodstream is what we call the absorption. Now, for this absorption take place in the ilium, there are structures there. these structures are called villi. I hope you can see they are finger-like, they are hair-like structures within the ileum itself, in the small intestines, and it is where absorption takes place. What is absorbed, we have said, are end products of digestion. However, some nutrients, like mineral salts and vitamins, can also be forced from they can be forced. They can be absorbed with the force, what we call active transport. In other words, there is a need of energy for them to be transported from the small intestines in the ileum into the bloodstream, but others diffuse. If you look at the detailed structure of the ileum, one of the detailed structure is as indicated. You can see that it has cells around it. This one in black and white. It has a number of cells. Those are epithelial cells. And the whole structure is called the epithelium. The epithelium, in the middle, there is a tube called lacteal. Then besides the tube, that lacteal, there are blood capillaries. They are blood capillaries. And so it is made up of one cell. This epithelium is made up of a layer of single cells, a layer. So it makes the absorption very easy into the bloodstream, into the blood capillaries, which you see there. What also enables it to, the food to be absorbed, you can see one of the few cells that have been brought out. They are again subdivided into microvilli, again into small and very small, those structures. All this is to increase the surface area for absorption. Okay, now fatty acids and glycerol are absorbed into the lacteal of the villus. The lacteal later joins up to form the lymphatic system. The lacteal at the bottom, they join to form the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a system like that of blood vessels. It is a system of vessels. It carries many substances, some of which are fatty acids and glycerol into the body, into the whole body. So why are these fatty acids and glycerol transported in the lacteal? It's because they are large molecules, they cannot fit in the small capillaries. Meanwhile, the capillaries, for them, they transport glucose, amino acids, fructose, and the other like vitamins, water, amino acids. And so those ones are carried by they are carried by the blood capillaries into the liver, to the liver. Food first goes to the liver. Before it reaches the liver, there is a blood vessel. From capillaries, they move into a blood vessel referred to as hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein, it takes food from the ileum into the liver. It is in the liver that you will find the assimilation taking place. But so what makes the ileum? What are adaptations that enable the ileum to perform the process of absorption? One of them is that they are highly folded. They are highly coiled. This provides large surface area for the absorption of the digested food. You can see how they are coiled there, folded. They are very long. Actually, some books quote that these small intestines, this ileum can stretch up to around 6 meters. So they are coiled and long to increase the surface area. Two, they are very thin. has a thin layer of cells to reduce diffusion distance. We have seen that the villi, they are made up of layer of only single cells, layer of single cells, the epithelial cells. And so it is thin to reduce the distance moved from the small intestines into the capillaries, into the bloodstream. The other adaptation is that these small intestines and the villi, they are supplied with the dense network of capillaries and lacteal, the dense network of capillaries. And lacteal, these are the tubes or the channels through which this absorbed food is transported. And so that's another adaptation, dense network of capillaries. The other one is that the small intestines, they have finger-like projections. Ilium has several of them. We can actually add the word numerous villi. They have numerous villi, which increase the surface area for the absorption of soluble food nutrients. And the other adaptation is that these villi can further be subdivided into hair-like structures. They have hair-like structures called microvilli, as we saw above. This further increases the surface area. And so it is in these villi that absorption takes place. Absorption takes place in these villi, which are found in the ilium. So that is the absorption. Now, once food has been absorbed and it is taken into the body, and first of all into the liver, later into the cells, later it is taken into the cells, it is assimilated. So the question is, what is assimilation? Assimilation, in simple terms, is what the food is used for, the absorbed food. Once it has reached the liver, or once it has reached the cells, what is it used for? And two, if it is in excess, what happens? That's what in simple terms we talk about in assimilation. So the assimilation is the incorporation or utilization of the products of digestion into the body metabolism for life processes, e.g. respiration, growth, repair, and digestion. Once absorbed into the blood capillaries and taken into the liver, they are used by the body in the following ways. So the use of these food nutrients is what we call assimilation. If we have carbohydrates like glucose, you know it is used to provide the energy. Its importance is broken down during respiration, provide the energy. Energy needed for body metabolic processes, all body reactions as they have been listed above. The body reactions, we said the ones you can list are those characteristics of living things. Even if it is locomotion, even if it is growth, even if it is repair, even digestion itself requires energy. So provides energy. If it is in excess, what happens? It is converted to glycogen and stored in the liver. If there is excess glucose, you have eaten a meal of carbohydrate, it has been broken down to glucose, and there is a lot of glucose. Some of it will provide energy. The excess will be converted to glycogen and stored in the liver. Once, for example, you become hungry, if there is starvation, if let's say from morning up to lunchtime you have not eaten, at some point you feel hunger, but later again you feel okay. This stored glycogen is converted back to glucose to provide the energy. So why you become okay, you feel somehow okay, is because the stored glycogen so that's the function of the glucose is mainly used to provide the energy during respiration. The other food nutrients are the proteins. We looked at the functions of proteins. These proteins, they are changed. These amino acids, once they have been absorbed, the amino acids, once they reach the liver, they are combined. They are synthesized to form new proteins. And you know the functions of proteins. One of the functions of proteins for growth is what we've been talking about. Important for growth and repair of worn out cells or repair of worn out tissues. But these new proteins, they're used to form enzymes and hormones. Some amino acids are used in the body for growth and repair of worn out tissues. And if you eat a meal without a carbohydrate, in the absence of glucose and fats, these amino acids can also be used to provide energy. They can be respired to provide the energy. What happens if there is excess amino acids? If you have eaten a lot of proteins, what happens is that they are deaminated. Deamination takes place. What is deamination? These amino acids, when you look at the structure of the amino acid, it has a nitrogen and a hydrogen. That structure, which you don't need actually to know, because the structures are studied at a higher level. They have what we call amino group. The amino group is nitrogen and 2 hydrogens. So if there is excess amino acids, that amino group is removed. When that amino group is removed, it is converted into urea. It is combined with carbon dioxide and converted into urea. And it is removed from the body as urine because it becomes toxic. Urea is toxic, poisonous. So the remaining part, that process of removing the amino group from the structure of an amino acid is what we refer to as deamination. It results into the formation of urea. So excess amino acids are not stored in the liver. For them, they are not stored in the body, amino acids. They are instead deaminated by the liver. Removal of the amino group to form urea, which is then passed to the kidney and excreted in urine. So deamination is the removal of the amino group from an amino acid to form urea, which is a toxic waste product. So that is how the use of proteins and excess, what happens. The uses is as indicated, as we have listed, and the excess is deamination. Members, do you think we need to take up some questions or we proceed and we?
I think we need to take up these other 4 hands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe before they come in, if you can allow me to add something little.
Yes, please.
Yes, about the adaptations of the Ilium. You remember the teacher explained to us that some of the food is taken up, is absorbed through the process of active transport. So one of the adaptations there is that they have, the Ilium has numerous mitochondria, which mitochondria generate the energy used for active transport. So they could include it. Then under the use of glucose assimilation, apart from the excess glucose being converted to glycogen in the liver, some of it is also converted into fats, and they stored under the skin and around other organs within the body. So some of it is converted into fats, and it is stored within the body. Maybe we can now pick the hands.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bima. Any of these girls?
There is Lugolobi, sauna.
Gorobi, they unmute themselves and ask the question.
Lugolobi, unmute yourself and ask the question. Lugolobi. Lisa?
Help them to unmute. Help them to unmute. They can't unmute themselves.
Okay.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Yes, I have a number of questions. The first one was that I don't understand how the ilium being coiled or folded like that could help in increasing the surface area. Because I don't know, it looks like it's really thick and the particles may not be able to like pass through it properly.
Okay, can you see the structure there as indicated? Do you see the coiling? We are talking about the folding. Because if it was straight, it wouldn't fit in the stomach. That coiling makes a large part of it, much of it to fit in the alimentary canal. So it is coiled, and being coiling, it means it is very long. And so if it is very long, and therefore it means that many portions of it can carry out to absorption. So the coiling is to make it much of it to fit within our body.
Okay.
And so once it is long like that, it increases the surface area. Another question you were asking?
Yeah. Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Teacher Faisal.
Yes, please.
Apart from probably increasing the surface area, coiling is also important in slowing down the speed at which food is passed through, so that it gives the time for the process of digestion and eventually absorption to take place. If it was a straight, long tubular structure, probably food will be passing through it very fast. And that will mean reduce the time taken for, reduce the time taken for the process of digestion. So will not have effective process of digestion taking place.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope girls are picking those points Mr. Bima is giving us.
Yes, Golobi had another question.
Yes, you saw that the capillaries, once they absorb that food, do they transport it to the veins and the arteries, or they just transport it straight away throughout the body?
Yes, they take them to the veins and the arteries. And the specific one is the hepatic portal vein, which takes the food from collects all the food from the capillaries and takes it to the liver. So it takes them to the arteries and the capillaries, but specifically hepatic portal vein.
Then my last question is that, does the urea come out from the urine? Does it mix with the water and the salts, then comes up with the urine in the urine?
Exactly. It is combined with the carbon dioxide. The amino group combined with carbon dioxide form urea. Then it mixes with water and the other salts, comes out as urine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Any other question? Let's take up.
Ayoki, Johanna. I've asked you to unmute yourself. Are you okay?
Yes, teacher. I wanted to know, how does this food move through the ilium? Because I saw it moving sideways, up, and yet it's going against gravity. Is there any force that pushes it through, to the end?
First, are you answering?
Any force that is
last time. Last time we talked about peristalsis. I hope you still remember when we talked about peristalsis. The moment food enters the esophagus, now peristalsis takes place, what you call peristalsis. And that is the involuntary action of the muscles of the gut to push the food. So the actions of those muscles in the alimentary canal are involuntary. You have no control over them. So they contract in a manner that food is pushed downwards. Now remember, we are talking about the long lengths of the ilium, or that part of the small intestines. So food is pushed along. So as food is being pushed along, it is moving, sideways along the villi. It is, and a lot of it is being absorbed. So the process of food being pushed is what we call peristalsis. There is peristalsis happening up to the last point. Peristalsis is still what? Taking place.
Oh, okay. And my second question is, when we eat excess food, like excess carbohydrates or protein, is that when we feel like we can no longer have any more? Is that when the body has had enough?
When you eat a lot of food, I mean, the stomach definitely fills up, because the first